Hey there everyone. So today we're gonna learn a pretty simple cocktail that's really delicious. You're gonna love it on a hot summer day, out on the porch, spending some time with friends, and it's called the Moscow Mule. So the Moscow Mule has nothing to do with Moscow or mules. It was actually created in Manhattan, and it's served in a special mug that's made of copper. And so this handled mug is just part of the tradition of the mule. And when you fill it up, it's super icy, super cold, and it's going to be a really refreshing thing to hold in the heat, but also a really refreshing drink. So we're going to walk through the ingredients that we need. So the first thing is some vodka. The second item is some ginger beer. So this is not ginger ale, it's ginger beer. And the difference between ginger ale and ginger beer is pretty stark. So ginger ale is pretty much ginger, sugar, sparkling water. It's like a syrup with some bubbles, and you have a soda. It's a ginger soda. Ginger beer is a fermented drink, so it is made with ginger, yeast, sugar, and water, and it's put in a closed container, which gives it time to ferment, to mature. The yeast eats so much of the sugar in there, and it develops a mature, interesting flavor of ginger that is totally different than what you're going to find in a ginger ale. Not nearly as syrupy sweet, a lot more based on like the flavor of the root. Some producers of ginger beer will also add pepper just to make sure that the spiciness is there because ginger is really flavorful, really aromatic, and really spicy when it's fresh. So a lot of producers try to make sure that they can capture that within the ginger beer that they produce. We also need a lime and some ice. So we're gonna get started, do a quick walkthrough of this drink, and then also talk about a few variations that you might wanna consider as you're making your own drinks at home. So play around a little bit. This is gonna give you just a space to start and experiment with not only making a delicious drink that folks will love, but also maybe creating a drink of your own. So the first thing that we're going to start with is a little bit of vodka. I'd say 1.5 to 2 ounces, depending on your tastes. I kind of like a stiff drink sometimes, but I tend to be more into the flavor of the drink. So I lean more towards like about 1.5 ounces. The second thing is we're going to fill this mug up with ice. So I don't want you to have to spend time measuring or worrying about how many ounces of ginger beer you have in your drink. What I'd say is fill this mug all the way up to the top, and then once it is filled to the top with ice, you can then take your ginger beer and fill it almost to the top of the mug. Takes the measuring out of it, and you're good to go. After that, we're going to take a lime. Little trick, you never know what the quality of a lime is. You never know if it's going to be juicy or dry, how long this has been in storage as it's been traveling around the world or the country to get to you. I like to lay the lime on a flat surface and roll it, just to get it ready for proper juicing. And then I'll cut off the ends because that's where you've got like the pieces of the pieces of stem that will sometimes fall in. It's a little like piece of brown or black. Doesn't really add any flavor, and you can get it caught in your mouth. No, thank you. So we're gonna use half of a lime. So just cut that lime in half, and then take your other half, or one of the halves, cut that into quarters, and from those quarters, we're gonna just grab each one, squeeze it into the drink, and then we're gonna leave the spent limes, we're gonna leave them in the mug. So I'm a believer in getting all the flavor and aroma that you can out of anything, but including citrus. And what's an important part about limes is that, or any citrus, is that a lot of the aroma is found in the oils which are in the skin. So the lime oil that thing that you smell so vibrantly and so bright when you smell a lime is a piece of the skin. So having that in your drink is a really nice way to keep that flavor, keep that aroma as part of the cocktail that you're mixing up. We're gonna grab a spoon, stir it up, and we're good to go. That's how simple a Moscow Mule is. And they're delicious. They're super yum. You're gonna love these, your friends are gonna love these, and you're gonna have a lot of fun having a nice cocktail that's really just a crowd pleaser. And furthermore, you can take some time to experiment with other variations on a Moscow Mule. So there's a lot of alternative vodkas out there. So Hangar One has this Mandarin vodka, which is nice and aromatic, has that citrus piece in it. Kettle One does this grapefruit and rose vodka, which I really love. It's one of my staples. We've got, Lass and Lions does their, it's their chamomile and lemongrass vodka, locally produced here in Chattanooga. And then if you want to get a little experimental, you can take a standard vodka, a cheap vodka, I don't really care. Just grab some vodka, put it in a jar, and throw some chilies in there. So I used Arbol chilies. They're a little spicy, a little fruity, and they add a fun complexity to your vodka. You'll need them in there for at least 2 hours. I'd recommend 2 to 4 days, something like that. That will get you the spiciness of the chili, and you strain that vodka out so you catch all the chilies, and then you can store that for a long, long time. And it's got a really nice, spicy, vibrant flavor that is fun to play around with. The other thing is to consider is what sort of citrus you want to use. So I'd argue that you don't ever want to take a citrus out of a drink if you're trying to play around with it. Try to find something that accommodates the space of the original drink. So where we had lime, what if we had grapefruit? That's a really delicious drink. It's got the tartness still, not as much as a lime, but it still has that tartness and a different palate flavor that you can really experiment with and see how it plays out in a similar proportioned cocktail. Lemons, of course, everyone's favorite. And then also oranges. So for example, if I was looking at doing something that was like a really aromatic, lighter, just yummy, delicious drink, you could use the same sort of proportions with grapefruit. I'd probably use maybe 1/4 of this grapefruit or 1/6 of this grapefruit instead. And then using this grapefruit and rose Kettle One vodka, really great mix. Keep the ginger beer in there. It's gonna be a really delicious cocktail that it's gonna smell beautifully. Maybe throw a little piece of rosemary in there for a garnish, and you've got a really nice cocktail that people are really gonna enjoy. I do that periodically, and I love it. And if someone doesn't, if someone wants something that's a little bit more kind of calm and more springy, perhaps, that's going to be a really good mix for them. And it's going to be something unique. Maybe if I was playing around with this spicy homemade vodka, I would probably use this chili vodka with some orange, maybe a little bit of lemon, and use the same proportions to mix up a complimentary drink. Really, what you can do is sky's the limit on this and just find what you enjoy. So you could play around with making some simple syrups with perhaps another bright colored or bright flavored simple syrup. So hibiscus syrup might be really nice. You might want to play around with some other herbal syrups to replace your citrus. Make sure that it has that bright citrusy flavor. That's really important. You may want to partner a simple syrup with the citrus to make something that's a little bit more playful or complex. And just play around with these proportions, see what you like and see what your guests like, because that's what's most important. At the end of the day, there's a lot of people who have a lot of experience making brilliant, classic, and creative cocktails. But what it comes down to is crafting something that is well balanced, that's delicious, that's enjoyable, and that you can share with your loved ones and friends. So look forward to seeing you soon. Feel free to reach out if you've got any questions about the cocktails you're making or different variations that you're playing with on a Moscow Mule. I'd love to hear what you come up with. Thanks a lot. See ya.